Hello marine biology students. In this last video of the week, we're going to be talking about invertebrate chordates. Phylum Hemichordata, or the Hemichordates. Contains several of the features of chordates, but are lacking just a few. Shared components include a pharyngeal gill slit, and a hollow dorsal nerve cord. The hemichordates are characterized by acorn worms, which are deposit feeders that use a proboscis for feeding. There are some invertebrate chordates in our own phylum, Phylum Chordata. So the chordates include two invertebrate groups, the tunicates and the lancelets, as well as all of the vertebrates. Which include the fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. The chordate characteristics that must be in all chordates, at least at some stage in their life, include a hollow dorsal nerve cord, a notochord, gill slits along the anterior half of the pharynx, and a postanal tail. Since humans are vertebrates, we have all of these characteristics, at least at some stage during our development. Looking at the invertebrate chordate groups, the first we'll talk about are the tunicates in the subphylum Chordata. For the tunicates, only their larvae, which are tadpole larvae, have chordate characteristics. These are not seen in the attached sac-like adults, except a pharynx with gill slits. This includes the sea squirts or ascidians, who are sessile filter feeders. They have an outer covering known as a tunic, which is a thick outer layer for their sac-like body, and it is cellulose-based. Another type of tunicate is a planktonic adult known as a salp, and it retains much of its larval features even in adult form. Sea squirts or ascidians, they can be colonial or solitary, as we see in the photograph. In the illustration, we can see the gill slits in the pharynx. And then to the far right, we see a salp, where the outer gelatinous house is made out of cellulose and is considered the tunic, whereas the larvacean is the main animal itself, which is feeding and swimming, providing the life of this structure. Our last group of invertebrate chordates are the lancelets, subphylum Cephalochordata. Or the cephalochordates. They possess all chordate features as an adult. They have a fish-like body, yet with the absence of a backbone, which is why they are considered an invertebrate. Lancelets are small, usually only up to 3 inches long or so. They are filter feeders who live in shallow, soft sediments. And they make use of their gills to help in the filtering of food. So here we see an adult lancelet, or Amphioxus. We see its mouth and pharyngeal gill slits, has a notochord and a hollow dorsal nerve cord, a complete digestive system, and a postanal tail. All of these essential chordate characteristics. So that was a lot of different animal phyla that we discussed. One of the goals of taxonomy and systematics is to try to arrange organisms in a meaningful way based on their evolutionary past and relatedness to each other. So here we see one proposed phylogenetic relationship of several of the animal phyla we talked about in this week's videos. This is based on morphology, it's based on developmental studies, but as we continue to do genetic studies and molecular biology studies, we might find that some of these organizational patterns aren't necessarily set, and that we would expect to see variations in the organization, or at least the categorization of the relatedness of these animal phyla. As with previous chapters, there's an incredible table highlighting the different animal groups we've talked about in these videos, talking about their similar features and how they are different from each other. This is table 7.1 in the textbook, and I highly encourage you to look at that table in the textbook because it's hard to see all the detail of this table in this slide. And that concludes our discussion of invertebrate chordates. Now, before our videos next week, I would like you to consider what organisms would you likely go to an aquarium to see? We'll probably be talking about them next week. See you then.